So Yola was promoting their paddle, this new alpha that I've been playing with for the last couple months now. So Yola took care of us for a couple days. The pros did a bunch of interviews and stuff. Basically, all the Yola players with signature paddles were at the event. So we had Ben, Colin, AB, Simone, and myself. So it was kind of funny. That's actually my first event doing something with
the team.
Ben. I guess with Ben and like that whole team. So definitely got to meet them, or just got to
sit at the pro table.
Yeah, sit at the pro table and chat a bit more and kind of get to know their stories. My name is Tyson, and this is the McGuffin Show. Mama, what's going on, girl?
Finally home. So excited. Back to parenting. Yeah, that too. Man,
felt 17, like awful parents for 17 days.
Was it 17 days?
Didn't call our kids once.
Oh, baloney.
No, I didn't call them once. No, we did not. Nobody was watching them. Didn't even call them.
You know, I feel like sometimes the whole calls for kids is like more for the parent than it is for the kid, because like they could care less. But like our kids, I almost like felt like it's like bittersweet, because you're so glad that they're not missing you, but you're kind of sad that they're not. I mean, there was a couple times that they were a little tearful, but for the most part, they were just having a blast. Like they had everybody at their disposal. They had Elizabeth, our nanny, who loves them and they love her. They had JoJo, and JoJo's like Grandpa Joe. You know, he's always hanging out, always has his kids, which is great. So they love his kids. And then we had Peter there capturing some content, and love Peter. So yeah, no, it was just kind of
Peter can do it all, right?
I know, right? Keep the kids busy, film them, all the above. So
carry bags as you're flying.
Yeah. So yeah, no, the kids had a great time. Without us.
It's not so much Banks that misses us on the road. It's more so Mac. Mac's got some big feelings, if you know what I mean.
He's so funny.
He's a sensitive man. He's one of the toughest kids I freaking know. He's got the mullet rocking, but he's got some serious feelings.
We come home, he's got some like big bruise on his face from falling off a chair. Like, I mean, he's like the most rough and tumble kid. But what'd you say to him yesterday? He was like sitting on the counter, and you said something, and he like got all solemn and like looked down at the ground. He was a little sad.
Usually just like a simple no.
But at least now he's not crying. He just gets a little sad. But.
True. And anyways. Looking at his legs this morning, there's bruises all over his legs too.
He's just so rough. Like
got like springs on his knees.
He's jumping on me with his knees. He like will jump off the couch. You were talking about it yesterday. Jumps from the couch, lands on his knees. Like
he's getting ready for WWE.
I just think he must just not feel it. He's just covered in bruises. Banks, there's no bruises.
It's so funny because he's very bright, but it seems like there is nothing going on upstairs. You know?
It's so weird. He's very intelligent, actually, like when it comes to numbers and letters, and his enunciation of words is even better than Banks.
Right, much more clear.
But also he's kind of a man of few words sometimes. Like, but as soon as we walk in the door, what do you say? Like, I'm a boy.
Anyhow, so I'm just gonna, I've been talking to my health team, and we're just gonna kind of ease my way into tournaments and not overtrain. I think that's been a big thing of mine. Usually I'm one to show up to tournaments, Sunday night and do 2 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, play Thursday. I don't think that's the answer. I think, just getting enough touches in like the week before, get my mind right, get my body right, get lots of body work in, and just
make sure you're peaking at the right time.
Yeah, right. Make sure I'm peaking at the right time, and there's no need to overtrain or think that I like need to like find extra once I get to the tournament. Obviously, like adapting is necessary, but I'm probably on the court like 4 hours Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, along with some brand obligations and some things like that. So come Thursday, I'm not going to lie, usually I've been a little beat up. And Thursday, I'm playing singles as well. I'm playing all 3 events, and the journey does not start Monday of the tournament. The journey starts Thursday. So freaking save myself.
Don't make yourself do 2 tournaments back to back. That's essentially what you're doing in your training and your cram session to get touches right before. So
you want to tell us about Necker Island?
Yeah.
Miami.
Crazy.
Komodo.
So we flew to Miami on, was it Friday? Yeah, I think it was Friday. Got there, went out for a really yummy dinner at Komodo. Happened to be the night before the UFC fight. So actually,
I was telling my wife, I'm like, hey, let me just stay here an extra night. I'll go to UFC 296. I'll see you on Necker Island Sunday.
Yeah, there's no direct travel to Necker, so that's a little difficult.
UFC fights, Komodo. Saw Anthony Smith there.
There you go.
It's so funny, like anytime that I see stars or athletes that I like, I'm always such a weenie and I never go up and take a photo. If they're in the pickleball space, obviously it's much easier, but yeah, so I don't know, just there's fans that come up to me and like they tell me like they're nervous coming up and all the above, and I never think much of it. But when that role is reversed, and whether it's like a UFC fighter or just somebody that I kind of look up to, I'm not gonna lie, like making that first move is a tad bit tricky.
Yeah, Well, it's funny too because I think speaking from our like perspective or your perspective, like you love for to be available to fans and for fans to come up to you. Like it's never like, I mean, obviously circumstance, if you just lost a match and you need a couple minutes, like that's a little different. But other than that, like you don't have any problem. Like you don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. You're always like, yeah, come say hi. You say that to campers, make sure you find me, come say hi, right. All the above. So it's funny, but you don't know that with a stranger, like how receptive they are. But it's funny how in our minds, like you don't think of how you interact with fans because maybe they don't care either. Maybe they're totally fine with it.
I'm thinking Anthony Smith is going to say, gosh, like, what is this bozo doing?
Right.
This guy wants a photo? No. Okay?
Right.
No, you're not getting a photo.
But maybe he loves it,
right,
I don't know.
And he commentates, super nice guy. I would assume he could care less.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I think too, like the whole perspective where so many of those guys, just like, I mean, so many people's stories, right? They come from not a whole lot, and fans are what got them to where they are. No, and sure. So it's like, much rather do that, meet with a fan and having conversation than have to maybe do like press interview
and have something in common, obviously. Yeah. So super cool. So fans always feel free to come, kiddos especially, come and say hi. Come say hi.
Love it. Yeah. There's not a wrong time. Good.
Next morning, hopped on a PJ. Shout out to Jonathan. Johnny, actually, long story short, he's got a Airbnb. He's got Airbnbs all over, but he has an Airbnb here in Coeur d'Alene, and we actually stayed at his Airbnb this last summer.
For a week.
Yeah, for a week. John was there. Had a bunch of the boys from Chelan come for the week as well. And it just so happens that Jonathan is a pickleball junkie, as we saw there on Necker.
Yeah,
the guy freaking loves it. And Jonathan has his own private jet. Jonathan is a pilot, and small freaking world. But Jonathan was the one that took us from Miami down to Necker.
Small world. Yep. And so, took his little plane.
First time on a PJ.
Yeah, it was our first time.
And it was a 5-seater.
Yeah, it was really cool. It's a 5-seater. So, or 4, I guess. But I think what's cool about that jet is he said most jets have to have 2 pilots, and it's small enough that it only requires 1 pilot. So someone can ride up with him next to him. So I rode on the landing as we were coming in, which was really cool too, because we were landing at night. So on the small island where the runway is like half the size of a normal runway. And so there was a little bit of it was totally safe and totally fine. But yeah, it's just
landing
a different
was butter.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a normal like situation. So super cool. And to be able to witness that and do that. And then as we were leaving, you got to fly to Florida up front with them. So pretty cool experience with that. So thank you to Jonathan for letting us experience that.
And Jonathan, we would love to stay at your place again this summer. And you can gladly take any camp of mine, and it's on me. So
we have to get out to, he said that when he comes here too, he's going to cook for us. Sounds like he's a big chef. So we'll go out there and eat.
He's telling us about a couple of his recipes.
And he's got a ranch in Montana too. So we gotta head out there. But yeah, anyway, so got to Beef Island late, took a boat to Necker.
Beef Island.
Yep. Had a late dinner, said hi to everybody, then took our boat back to Leverick, stayed there that night, and in the morning got up and headed over to Necker early in the morning, and that's when the kind of journey started. Yeah,
Sunday through Thursday. There was a speaking panel each morning. A breakfast, lunch, and dinner was all together. Very cool community aspect. Great place to network.
Absolutely.
There was people paying top dollar to be there and rub shoulders with the pros and stuff like that, and obviously brainstorm and no, it's just cool to pick people's brains and hear their stories and kind of how they made it and like what they do and stuff like that. Obviously, they're all advocates with pickleball and junkies at heart. Richard spent more than enough time with us.
For sure.
was there for all the meals. But yeah, pretty much in the morning, we'd wake up like around 7 or 8. A boat would pick us up, take us to Necker, drop us off, brekkie, speaking panel, go straight to pickle. There was like 2 hours of instructional each morning from 10 to noon, lunch, any meal we ate. 5-star, very good.
So good. And it was like an experience, right?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
each meal was like
A little something different.
Yeah, something different in a different area, on a beach or at the pool. I think one of the really cool experiences, one of the days, like they had a sushi boat lunch and we were like, we don't know what that means. Like, are you going to be on a boat or what's going to happen? They had these boats in the pool come out with their sushi. So
and no sushi was dropped in the water.
No, it was amazing.
Even though Jame was about 9 drinks in. Jame.
But no, we're all standing in the pool. If you guys check it out, go to our Making McGuffins vlog and check it out on there. It's pretty cool. But yeah, all standing in the pool, eating sushi. And then right afterwards, live music. Every night was a different artist, all super talented. And like, how exclusive, like us and like 40 people. And we're like this little private concert every night and sometimes during the day. So that was the other kind of group. So there was a pickle focus group that was there, basically pickleball people from all over the world, people in the industry.
I think there was like 40
people in the business,
40 guests total.
Yeah. And then the other side of the guests, I would say was kind of like the entertainment side. So like film industry, music industry, media, all of that. So that was cool too, because you have these people that are like, have their own stories and they've made it and killed it in their industries and they're passionate about what they do. And so it was just like a group of people that were so passionate about like what they do, what they bring to the table, like-minded people all hanging out together. So it's hard to explain, and everybody, it's funny, like on the forum keeps saying you had to be there to feel it. But yeah, it was just a really good energy. All the people there and what everybody had to say and do, and felt like family by the last day. I mean, we were spending long days together in all different sorts and circumstances. So, and pickle was kind of like the central theme.
Yeah, pickle in the morning and then pickle in the afternoon.
Yeah.
We did some pro-ams, pro exhibitions. Obviously with my foot banged up, I was not playing, so they put me on the mic for a little bit. And we had a tournament the last day. Jame was the double winner. There was 2 brackets, lower division bracket, higher division.
Yep. And it was cool. You got to pick your pro every round, right?
You have to pick your pro every round.
So yeah. So at the end, Jame got picked twice.
Yeah,
he got picked on both sides.
Right.
So it's kind of cool. I think Jesse did too.
Who doesn't want a piece of that Spanish ass, huh? Come on. Sweet, spicy Spanish ass. But yeah, Jame balled out. Richard came out at the very end there. After the tournament, popped a bottle of champagne, sprayed it everywhere, sprayed it on Jame. I think Caitlin was like...
Caitlin won the higher end bracket.
Yeah, Caitlin was like drinking champagne out of the trophy.
Oh, gosh, yeah. It was blast.
And Caitlin's business is... the
Pickleball Chick?
Pickleball Chick, yeah.
Yep. And she commentates for... or I guess... MCs.
She's like the hype girl MC for MLP. So definitely follow her on socials.
And she's an owner of the Las Vegas Night House.
Yep. Yeah. And then Alex from the Funky Pickle.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Alex kind of organized all the
ran the tournament and kept everything rolling.
Did a great job. Also, shout out to Casey. Casey's position is
she helped organize the Necker Pickleball Forum. I think is what they're calling it. It was the first annual one. So Necker Pickleball Forum was Casey, Remington, Gwen, Barry.
Barry.
They were all great. And I mean, being a first year, obviously learning curve for everybody. There was a lot to figure out as we went. A lot of things fell into place last minute. So with all of that, I mean, it was great. Like, take all those variables and they were able to pull it off. And so I think it only gets better from here. So which I can't imagine.
They took this idea from the Necker Cup, which is like a tennis event. They've had a wide range of top tennis players there. Yep. And they've been doing that for I don't know how long now, but they've been very successful with bringing guests. And I think anywhere from like 60 to 80 tennis guests come for the weekend. They have a bunch of tennis pros there, similar event. Yeah. So this was obviously their first stab at doing pickle. And I think they definitely learned a lot. And
I think pickle was like eye-opening to them, which it makes sense, right? Like if you have maybe you have 2 or 3 tennis courts that really people could be playing on, or you could be running a program on. So like not everybody's playing tennis all the time, nor can they, right? Because there's only X amount of courts, or maybe they don't want to. They're just kind of there for all the reasons, right?
Pickle courts making tennis courts fun again.
Pickleball courts are like slammed full all day long. People want to pickle like in between events. They want to like, they're like, we were not expecting that. Like, it's great, but
Degenerates.
yeah. And that's just like, isn't that pickleball in a nutshell? And even how many people like tried it out for the first time, and same thing, right? They were wanting to play all the time, and they had just started playing.
But yeah, we had 6 pros there. Jesse, Hunter, Yates, Jame, Roscoe, and Beth. So good to spend some time with those cats. And then directly after that, we went to the Abaco Club.
Yeah.
The Abaco Club there in the Bahamas. What is that island called? Is it called Abaco? Okay.
Abaco Island, yeah.
Simple
I think
as that.
there's so Abaco, you can fly into Marsh Harbor, which is on Abaco, right? Yeah, and then you go to Abaco, and then they're called, it's spelled Key, or it's spelled K, but you pronounce them Keys, right? So that little islands are keys.
Right.
So there's different keys like off of Abaco, but the Abaco Club is one of the largest, I think, clubs on Abaco.
Right. Nicest golf course.
Right? Yeah. But yeah,
you could find me on the golf course morning and night there. But yeah, they did an awesome job hosting us for the week. We spent Friday through Monday there. Lots of good food. Water was pristine, baby blue.
Yep, they had 3 pickleball courts. We got
pickle courts. Did a little event that last day. Got to meet Fun Bob.
Yeah.
Fun story. I actually met Fun Bob at an event in Coeur d'Alene, Small World, back in like 2018. Crazy. And then, he's like their full-time tennis and pickle pro there at the Abaco Club. But so I had a great time there. Golf, water sports, laid out, good food,
amazing food. Yeah. They're like expanding their club, so like lots of cool stuff. We went and checked out. The golf course is like, I can't even explain, like it's rated like the #1 golf course in the Bahamas, but by far, like, I don't know, just the grass, it was amazing to me. Like the fairways to me were like nicer than any green that I've ever seen. So
nice wide fairways, massive greens, just for my awful game, if you know what I mean.
Like hilly though, and like, I don't know, like I was talking to another member that's into golf, and he said, just so many different challenges, and and it's kind of a crazy concept.
That's why my scores were so high.
There's no tee times. So like they have I don't know if that's like low enough membership or to the
you can take. I mean, I had my shirt off half the time, no shoes. You can freaking do what you want, and there's never anybody on that golf course. No, you're freaking by yourself out there.
Yeah, you just go and step on, and then halfway through, just like there's no tee times, right? There's like a bar and a beach like halfway through, so you just like stop your golf cart. You can go swimming for a while. You can just hang out, and then you want to resume golf. You just go back to your cart, hop back on the course.
Nobody's waiting behind you.
No,
it's absurd.
Yeah, not real life.
Yeah. So thank you very much. We will definitely be back. I taught an event that very last day as well, and got to meet some of the members, and we're hoping to take our kids down there next time, not be awful parents, and just travel alone.
Well, now that we know it's like safe, and there's other kids there, we just had to
test
try
the waters first, make sure there's no poison, and then we can bring the kids. Right?
Exactly.
It's simple as that. Directly from there, went to New Orleans, not New Orleans, New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Went to NOLA, first time there.
Yeah, I wish we had more time there, but we only had
destroyed
like 48
some crawfish.
hours.
Shrimp and grits, all that good Southern food.
So good.
Apparently most...
we didn't get beignets, though. I thought
didn't get beignets, yeah.
I'm not really
apparently
sweet.
It's like the most unhealthy city in the in the country.
But the food is good.
Food is great.
So
good. For sure. People were nice. So Yola was promoting their paddle. Yeah. This new Alpha that I've been playing with for the last couple of months now. And so they had retailers there. They had a bunch of media people there. Yola did, we had 2 dinners. Yola did a little presentation that first night, kind of talking about the history of Yola and each generation. And for all the Yola users out there, I would assume that you're going to find a lot more power in this. It's going to feel very similar as far as feel to the first and second generation. Very forgiving hitting zone, very gritty. You can get a lot of RPMs anytime you're shaping the ball. But I think this is best of both worlds: forgiving, soft, and packs a punch.
Yep.
So,
it was cool because there was a bunch of like distributors there, but then there was also like media, and you could tell like these media people, like the kitchen was there, pickleball clinic was there,
pickleball pirate.
gosh, there was like
Pickleball Central,
like 10 different people
Pickleball
doing
Superstore.
interviews. Yeah. Everyone was there. And so it was cool watching them hop on the court, get the paddle in their hand, actually get to be able to play with it, and then give their live feedback as to what they thought about the technology. So it was cool to see that, because you don't know, right? Like all the pros have been testing it, which that's one perspective, but like to see it in their hands and like kind of get their input, it was really cool to see.
Yeah. So Yola took care of us for a couple days. The pros did a bunch of interviews and stuff. So like in the morning, we'd have breakfast, a bus, this massive bus that Yola rented. Right?
Yeah.
Took us over to the Pickleball Exchange, right? This big old charter took us over to the facility each day. The Pickleball Exchange, shout out to Renee and Jimmy. They've done a great job there. They've been open. Jerry, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Jerry. They've been open for like 7 months now. Don't know how many members they have, but really good food and beverage. They have 6 indoor courts, 1 outdoor. And
cool event space.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like they do lots of corporate events and
kind of warehouse style
in the community. Yeah,
with a really cool like outdoor area where you guys did like interview stuff, and then they have like it looked like a little kitchen area or cafeteria.
Yeah,
and then
lighting is
courts in the
good.
back.
Ceiling is high enough. Plenty of space. Sign me up.
Yep,
Sign me up. And then basically all the Yola players with signature paddles were at the event. So we had Ben, Colin, AB, Simone, and myself. So it's kind of funny. That's actually my first event doing something with
the
Ben.
team.
I guess with Ben and like that whole team. So definitely got to meet them, or just got to
sit at the pro table.
Yeah, sit at the pro table and chat a bit more and kind of get to know their stories. I played Major League Pickleball the first season on the Hustlers with Anna Bright. Stayed at the house with her a couple times, so I got to know Anna very well, and she's a total sweetheart. Let's see here. Directly after that, we went to the NCAA wrestling tournament. That was always a bucket list item for me. I took one of my good buddies that I wrestled with kind of growing up. We've been wrestling since we're like 5 years old. He ended up actually wrestling a junior college at North Idaho College here in Coeur d'Alene. And Tate told me, I had no idea this, but Tate told me that 20 years ago, 2 decades ago, our dads, who were best friends, wrestling coaches, went to the NCAAs
together.
So
how cool.
Together, right?
Meant to be.
Right.
No, it was super
It was Mama's
cool.
first time seeing live wrestling. No, have you seen live wrestling?
I've seen live wrestling, junior college wrestling, but not, I've never been to like a Division I type event, let alone the championships, but it was really special. I think for me, I don't know, like resonates with me.
We consumed a lot of...
I mean, Ty is obviously sports age now, and it's fun to see his fire with like soccer and stuff like that, and kind of like getting just a little taste of that. But like to see like how I feel, and like there's a certain passion I have for you when you play, and the nerves that I get and stuff like that. But then to see like parents have that with their kids, like I was just, I don't know, it was super cool. It was like super special to see that. So
Bobby, I should know what Bobby's last name is, but Bobby from Yola got me connected with his good buddy that's the head wrestling coach at FMU. Kind of a cool story. So FMU is a Division III program, but the wrestling program is a D1 program. So the FMU coach, total stud, got to spend some time with him that last night. He was very hyped.
As most wrestling coaches are.
Right. So it's so funny. There's so much testosterone in that building. And when wrestling people get drinking, watch out. It gets nice and aggressive. It does.
They love their sweets. They love their alcohol.
I can't tell you how many freaking sweet teas, twisted teas were drank over that weekend.
Yeah. Candy.
How many grams of sugar are in those twisted teas?
I don't know. That seems like a hangover city to me. But
anyhow, so he ended up plugging us with the tickets. Super cool dude. He plays pickle with Bobby. And I mean, I don't know. Like I wrestled from the age of 5 to the age of 18, found tennis age of 12. I was the youngest of 7. My dad kind of wanted me to live or just have the same, kind of ending as like my oldest brother, who was an All-American, or who wrestled at Boise State and actually would have been the first 4-time state champion in the state of Washington, which is pretty cool. He won it his freshman, sophomore, junior year. And then my dad, being the competitive nut that he is, didn't think that my oldest brother, Jay, had any competition his senior year, obviously after winning it 3 years in a row. So my dad sent Jay to like a 6A Catholic school to clean him up, if you know what I mean, in California. And it was like one of the best wrestling programs here in California. And Jay ended up like taking 3rd or 4th at state. But anyhow, so he kind of wanted me to wrestle in college like my oldest brother. None of his other sons wrestled in college. They all wrestled through like senior year. And at the age of 12, I broke my dad's heart. And actually, no, it's kind of funny. He introduced me to tennis. So
his fault.
Yeah, totally his fault. Totally his fault. But yeah, him and like 3 other wrestling coaches used to play tennis on Sundays at this resort that was actually on our Chelan vlog. It's called Lake Chelan Shores.
Yeah.
They would play tennis on Sundays. And so, yeah, I would go out there on Sundays, and for like a couple of weeks, I was just watching them play. And it was like, I mean, knowing tennis now, playing tennis, playing college tennis and teaching tennis forever. Like back in the day, wherever, like those tennis coaches played awful, or those tennis coaches, those wrestling coaches. I mean, it was just hideous. Yeah. It was like 4 hackers just trying to get after it, all making bad line calls, 0 technique. And, anyhow, so my dad introduced me to tennis at age of 12. And senior year, I could have went junior college for wrestling or JC for tennis, broke his heart, and ended up taking a tennis scholarship. And I'm glad I did, because there is not a whole lot in wrestling, if you know what I mean. And that's what I was talking to my buddy Tate. That's what's so sad. Like, prime example, there was 2, first time ever, there was 2 NCAA champions that have won it 4 years in a row. Carter Starachi and then Aaron Brooks. And they won it for Penn State. And then obviously Penn State usually wins every year. But this year they won by like 100 team points, which is insane.
Broke the record, right?
Broke the record. Insane. Like the previous record was 170. And they ended up getting like 172. But anyhow, it's just so sad. Like, you know, both Carter and Aaron win 4 high school state titles, win 4 NCAAs. And I swear, wrestlers are built different. Like, these guys are so disciplined. And one thing that we found out just by looking at their gear is that they all believe in who? The wrestlers. They all believe in the man above. All these guys are very religious, believe in Christ. And it seems like that whole Penn State team, just like they're total studs. No ego, super real,
right?
Believe in the man above, and just do it the right way. But it's just sad because now, I mean, there's really no money after college. Like, you take a look at college basketball players, NFL, baseball, hockey, like they're signing these multi-million-dollar contracts, right. And wrestlers simply like just get to wrestle in the Olympics. Yes, like, you know, they may get some brand endorsements, but they're waiting for the Olympics every freaking 4 years. And there's just really not a whole lot. You know,
I guess unless they like transition to like mixed martial arts, MMA, or whatever. But that's
totally
a whole other animal.
And kind of like, takes away your craft.
No, for sure. Unless they turn into coaches or or whatever, or commentating or that sort of thing. But like, you could imagine at that level to compete and have that be like, so, like, don't win, like you said, don't lose in high school, don't lose in college. And then, like, where do you take that competitive fire?
Now, right?
Yeah, like, where do you take that competitive fire? Yeah. Like, I'd be interested to see, like, what the stats are on that, like, what avenues. But a lot of times, too, like, I mean, also, I think there was an award, right, for, like, the highest GPA. And actually the kid from FNU kid. Yeah, for sure. So obviously too, like, just really intelligent guys, especially, these Penn State guys, all these like wrestlers too. Like, I'm sure that academically they go on to business or whatever else they study in college and stuff too. But like you said though too, like, forget about taking wrestling any further. Like, how tough does wrestling, like being tough and growing up in wrestling, how does that translate, or what benefit do you see from that? Like, after, like, in life, like in business or you obviously
know
right?
that I want all of our kids to wrestle, right? I think first and foremost, it just builds a trust, makes them a lot tougher. The discipline in wrestling with cutting weight and just always being sharp, how you get beat up in the wrestling room, how coaches treat you. It's just it's a different type of treatment, So there's this famous quote by Dan Gable, who won the NCAAs. I don't know if he won it 3 or 4 times, and then went on to win the Olympics and put his shoes down. And that's a sign in wrestling that you are retired. Put his shoes down on the Olympic mat. That was like his last match ever. And one of his famous quotes are, once you've wrestled, everything else in life is easy. And it's so true. But I think just discipline, hard work, determination, and the community of wrestling is unlike anything that I've ever experienced. So super cool. Consumed plenty of watching, that's for sure. We watched for 6 hours on Thursday. Each day was like a little less because the tournament kind of winds down and there's less people in the bracket. Every day we had our program, right? You
got to go get we
had to get our programs
next,
updated, right?
It's so funny.
Look at the brackets.
Tate, the first day, he's got his pen and he's like filling out the bracket and stuff. And I thought it was kind of strange. Like when you get there, you can buy a program. The program's like $25 for this like magazine program, which I'm sure if you're a parent or whatever, it's cool to buy. And but at the end of it, I think we found out like later the first day, there's like coupons for each like round, so you don't have to fill it out yourself. You can actually go turn your coupon in and they'll give you another printout. So they'll give you a printout for each round. So go get your bout sheet.
Go get your bout sheet and make sure you update that thing every day.
Because
it's a tad bit tricky because there's 8 matches going on
at one time.
Right. Yeah. So you want to know their weight class. You want to know like
their ranking,
what school they're from, what their seed is, what the match number is. If you're going to be at the NCAAs for wrestling, you got to fully dial in. Dive in.
And it was cool too how like just sitting there, and I knew like nobody, right? I haven't been following it at all, but like just even talking to Tate, getting the backstory from you and Tate, like on a few like it's funny how like so quickly
Tate's a full blown junkie. I don't follow wrestling enough,
but like you get behind like Vito, like I like would die if he didn't win, and I just like found out about him, or like hearing the stories for the Penn State guys, and then also the FMU guys that we sitting next to their parents. So like obviously you gotta like cheer for them, and like your heart breaks if they don't make. It's just it was cool to get behind and watch live.
And it's just cool too because they work their ass off and they cut weight freaking all year long to just make it to the NCAAs, so it means a lot. Like there was a story last year, there's a kid named Spencer Lee, wrestler for University of Iowa, and I think he'd won the NCAAs a couple years, maybe even 3 years. He's going on his 4th NCAA title, and he ended up losing to a kid from Purdue, like 2nd or 3rd round. And we watched this match, and his mom, and this just comes to show just how fucking intense, just how intense these wrestling parents are. His mom was crying after the match in the stands, and it was kind of sad because the camera was just freaking right on her. But she ended up like breaking her glasses. She threw her glasses. She's all pissed off. She's like bawling. No, I've got a lot of respect for wrestlers. Anytime that I see some cauliflower ears walking around, I make sure not to not to cause any confrontation.
No.
And tell me, how many sets of cauliflower ears did you see at that tournament? As a wrestler, that's like a staple. Okay. If you wrestle, you freaking make sure there's enough friction on those ears when you're on the wrestling mat that you get those ears to fluff up a little bit.
And we discussed this.
And that whole process is yucky. Funny story about Tate. So Tate in high school, I have smaller ears. I made sure to always wear my headgear. But Tate in high school, so if you have cauliflower ears, usually it pusses up with like a bunch of liquid. And so you have to go in, see a doc, and they drain it. But even when they drain it, it gets leathery, and it's still, there's like a bunch of cartilage in there. Yeah. So it kind of gets like super crusty. Anyhow, so Tate's right ear. So Tate snores like a bear, right? And one thing I told my wife with Tate staying with us, and Tate would think this is funny. So one thing I told my wife with Tate staying with us this last weekend, I'm like, hey, whatever we do, we cannot stay in a hotel room. We need to get an Airbnb. This man needs his own room because he snores like there's no tomorrow. So it's like, I don't know, 6 a.m. I think we had wrestling practice like bright and early, and Tate's sleeping in my room, and the guy had been snoring all night. I didn't get like an ounce of sleep, and shame on me because I ended up sneaking over to where he was sleeping, and I flicked his ear that had the cauliflower ear. Woke him up right away, super pissed off. But no, it's I've never experienced cauliflower ear, but I've heard that it definitely sucks. And we were, that's kind of funny. We're asking Tate, we're like, bro, how do these guys put AirPods in their ears? Cause literally like the ear hole is like that small, right?
Yeah, we were asking if it affects your hearing.
Right.
That's what I wasn't sure.
Apparently
it doesn't.
they specifically make headphones, earbuds just for cauliflower ear.
Yeah, that's crazy. But it seems like it's like a not rite of passage. What would that be? It's like a symbol. It's like it's like wrestlers.
I'm a badass.
Yeah, and I think it's like a community, right? Like you see someone else, or like Craig, right? Craig's like, I wish I would have had more cauliflower ear. Like, I mean, he like sees it as like this symbol of, which I can get it after watching it, and really, and like I said, like I grew up watching high school wrestling and junior college wrestling, but like I don't know, at that level, at the top of the top, like you can totally see, like it's
super sharp.
Such a community, and it's just it was super cool.
Yeah,
Anyways.
A lot of these guys have like won world tournaments too, and so Vito, this kid from Cornell, had won it like 1 or 2 years in a row, and I don't know, like he had lost to this kid from Lehigh University 2 times this year, and this Lehigh kid was like a true freshman. And so everybody was like super pumped up for this match, and it was I think it was like a semis match. And anyhow, Vito raised his level, totally tooled him, won by like 10 points. And that's just like the true sign of somebody that's been dealing with losses all year. I guarantee Vito lost sleep over it. Anyhow, love me some wrestling. I plan to go back every year.
Yes.
I just want to add more to the squad next year, bring in Craig and a couple other wrestlers. But
do it.
Last little thing here. I just want to give a big shout out to one of my buddies, Romanian, played like a stud in Austin. What's his name? Andre. The guy, talk about a guy who just continues to get better. Last couple of years, he taught a lot of tennis and pickleball, worked way too much, didn't have enough time to train. Now he's in a position where, he's training full time. He's playing with all those guys in Boca. He's getting better very quickly. And no, it's just so cool. I mean, I had mentioned this before on the podcast, like if there's one person that always texts me after I have a good weekend, it's always Andre. And I feel like I have done the same for a long time now. Andre has been an APP legend for the longest time, probably one of the most underrated guys in pro pickleball. And this last weekend, he played lights out. Ended up, to sweep Ben and Annalie in 3. It was like 11-3, 11-9, 11-3. He played lights out. And then to win it in men's as well. Don't know what James is thinking, but Andre ended up stepping up and played in for James, both with James's men's partner and AB.
And some chemistry there with Andre
AB,
and Andre.
They
AB.
both played for the squeeze.
Yeah, playing for the squeeze and
won a lot of matches.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Andre, like, prime example, right? Like we've been talking about like, oh, what's the, salaries and, the money that's coming to pickleball and like, what's it going to do? Like, are people going to really get after it and train and use it? And it's going to like make the level raise. Prime example, Andre. And like, just now being able to commit 100% to pickleball and how much his levels raised, even in the last, like, 6 months, you want to say? Like,
he's gotten a lot better.
Yeah. And for a guy like that's just like has such a pure heart and is
if there's
the
one guy
kindest
that
person.
Deserves it. It's, he definitely deserves all the credit.
For sure.
I think a couple things that has improved for Andre. First and foremost, he switched to Proton. It's funny because that the face of the paddle seems like butter. It seems like there's nothing on it, but apparently we were just educated that the technology, it's all friction based. And so you're actually still getting plenty of spin. Disregard the paddle though. The guy's playing lights out. He's serving better. He's getting more on the drive. He's closing a lot more. I think in the past, he kind of lacked head to head, lacked power and stuff like that. Andre actually, if you don't know his background, he played for University of Oklahoma, was a super high level tennis player. And played big boy style of tennis, thump to serve, thump to ground strokes. And he ended up like hurting his shoulder in college, or hurting his shoulder after college. So couldn't play professional tennis, but that was the route he was thinking about going, and started playing pickleball. And I think just for the longest time, like he didn't have strength because like his shoulder, he had like a cold shoulder or it was banged up. But anyhow, it seems like now he's getting more power. He's leaning in a lot more. He's creating a lot more offense. Obviously he's much more confident. And if there's one thing that guy does better than most, he freaking fights like there's no tomorrow. When his back's against the wall, the guy's a true dog. And just like what Mama mentioned here, he's one of the nicest guys out there. So my man.
And I think you can see like his passion, like as he plays, like just his fire and passion and like level. Yeah. And like when I think it's so cool too, like his celebrations, like after you could just tell, like just that's the just on. Yeah. Like, you know, how much he put into it, what he got out of it. Like, I don't know, start to finish. Like, so happy for him. I think it's so cool.
Andre for president. My name is Tyson McGuffin. This is the McGuffin Show. Next time we will have K-Mac on here. I just kind of figured, since I haven't spent time with K-Mac over the last 18 days, that it would make sense just to have him listen to all this nonsense.
Yeah, and he's teaching today.
Is
Pretty
he?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Today is Virginia Beach camp. So
keep that man working.
I know. Dang it. But yeah, he'll definitely be here for the next one. Sure. And we'll see him in North Carolina. He'll be coaching you. So
we'll see you guys next episode.